You know that one corner in your house that quite judges you every time you pass it? For me, it was this, my dive gear. I've been diving for years, and somehow my gear ended up stored in many different places. Wardrobe, living room, random bags, even the back of my office chair. So I finally decided it's time to build a dedicated scuba gear closet. But here's the twist. I didn't want it just to look nice. I wanted it to work. And one organizer I use it totally changed how I pack for trips. I'll show you that part later. Here's the thing about dive gear. It's bulky, it's wet, it's oddly shaped, and unless you're lucky enough to have a dive locker, it's a nightmare to store. I kept finding myself re-cleaning, re-drying, and repacking the same items over and over again. And it wasn't about laziness, it's just that nothing had a home. At one point, I found a thing in the laundry basket and a mask in my desk drawer. That's when I knew I had a problem. It's kind of funny. You spend years perfecting your buoyancy underwater, but back on land, your gear storage is totally out of balance. So I made a plan. Step 1, take everything out. Step 2, design a space that makes sense for how I dive. Once the closet was empty, it felt like a fresh dive log. Blank pages, new start. I started with these pegboards from IKEA. I went with these Amazon shelving units. Sturdy enough to hold my gear, but modular so I can change things later. I also got many clear boxes from Amazon as well for smaller items, lights, O-ring, spare parts, so I can see what is inside without digging. But there was one thing I didn't expect to work so well. Pipes from the DIY store. Yeah, I will explain that in a minute. Each side of the clothes has a purpose, right? Tanks and large gear like BCD drysuit. I hang stuff here when the gear is still wet and leave until I need to pack for the next dive. Middle, small medium gear like dive computers, DSMB, boots. I use this area when the gear is still wet. And to keep this area dry, there is a shower drain pipe on the right side, so all the dripping water goes out and this area is fully dry in a couple of days. On the left side, I keep the dry gear in boxes and each box has its own shelves. And talk about the shelves, each one has its purpose. Top shelf, camera gear. Middle top, chargers, reel, DSMB, lights, toolbox, repair kit, dry suit inflatable board, and heating battery. The middle shelf, dive computer, wearing gears like hood, socks, gloves, etc. Base layer, undersuit, mask and snorkel, and spare. The middle bottle, regulators, and undersuit in bags. And the bottom shelf is stuff that are hardly used. And in this box I keep travel things like dry bags, travel bags, boxes, and anything else. Remember that pipe I mentioned? It turned into the best hanger gear rack I ever had. With these 3D printed thing hangers, it makes the perfect placement for all the large gear. So the workflow is quite simple. I return from a dive, wash all the gear and let it drip outside for about 1 hour. When it's still wet but not dripping, I bring inside to the pegboard or the hangers. Once the backboard gear has dried out, it goes to the correct boxes. Here's a part that made the biggest difference. Labeling everything. Because nothing kills a dive morning faster than hunting for your spare fin strap. This place is now perfect for all my gear and each one is visible. It's so simple, I wish I thought of this years ago. And just like that, everything has a home. No more digging through bags or guessing where the spare O-rings are. It's amazing how something as small as a closet can make you feel lighter. It's like mental declutterness for diving. Because when your gear is in order, you dive more, and honestly, that's the point, isn't it? If this video gave you few ideas, or if you build your own gear setup, drop a comment below. I'd love to see how other divers manage their chaos. I'm always stealing good ideas. Next, I compare my dive lights. So if you want to see what I use and when, you know what to do.